Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This is part 2 of my personal experience in the educational system in Romania. I just finished part 1 with my elementary and middle school, and this is going to be my high school experience in the communist Romania. That was before 1989. Well, the thing with the high school was kind of in between. So it was in the communist Romania and in the free, independent, democratic Romania, democracy and all that, blah blah blah. So let me tell you how it was in the communist Romania, the high school. So when you graduate the 8th grade, you just nothing happens, say bye-bye, and then you graduate in about June, 15th of June, and you have examinations to get into high school. Now there were about, in my hometown, which I can remember, it was like maybe 200,000 people or something population. You had about, I don't know, I would say 13 high schools, and these high schools were they are organized there were high schools on mathematics and physics, which that will be the main subjects. And because when you graduate high school, you would go to a college where emphasizes that, like engineering. Now there are some other high schools they were focused on chemistry or biology and languages, because when you graduate from that, you would go into medicine, you would go into teaching geography and so on. And then we're the third echelon, which was the one with like trade school kind of things. You would do everything, but it was nothing. They would focus on textiles or medicine. You know, you would become a nurse after high school. You become a nurse over there. So how do you get into high school? Your grades from the 8th grade after you graduate did not matter. You had to pass, obviously, the 8th grade. We all had the same curriculum in the whole country. First, second, third grade, and so on, the 8th grade. The tests were different. Each and every teacher would do their own thing. So from 1st grade until the 4th grade, you had one teacher every day for 4 hours. And then from the 5th grade, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, you would have teachers for each. For geography, you have one teacher. For history, you have another teacher. For German, you have another teacher. For English, you have another teacher. Mathematics, so each for each. And then how do you do it? You go and get a test, an examination. And the examinations were standard everywhere. The same test. But nobody knew what was in the test. And the tests were mathematics, and it was Romanian language, if I remember correctly. I think this how it was. It was mathematics and Romanian language that you had to take. And you go to, let's say you want to go to the best high school. You go to best high school, let's say it had 1,000 students for the 9th grade. And there were, let's say, I don't know, 20,000 students they want to get there. So you get 1,000, you get 20,000, students. That's 20 people on one position. So it was fierce and hard. So you have to be in the top, one out of 20. You have to be the best over there. So the 5th% or whatever you are, right? So to be over there, you have to be very good. And if you everybody would get the same test. You couldn't copy, you couldn't do anything. And then we would give you the result and say, okay, you are above the line or below. If you were above, you enter. If you're below, they will take you and place you to the high schools where nobody wanted to go. And there was no examination because the places, the slots were not covered. So you'd go to worse ones. Worse ones, you would do the same thing. Here or there, the same curriculum. The thing is, the teachers or the high school was not so strict. That was the only thing. But you can study the same thing to a bad high school versus a good high school. And obviously you go with certain kind of group of people versus the other group of people. Now you go in the 9th grade, and then you go in the 10th grade. In the 10th grade, you have the second examination, which from those 1,000 that you entered in the 9th grade, from 1,000 is going to be, let's say, 500, half of them, so half of them out. But you could come from a different high school and apply to try to get in here and get examined. So again, you're going to get, let's say, 20,000 people on 500 places right now. And again, the same thing. The first 500 get in, the rest will be placed in other high schools. You get in the 12th grade. In the 12th grade, you do, it's called baccalaureate, the final exam. In the final exam, I think you had physics, you had mathematics, you have Romanian language. I think that's what it was at the communist time. And then after the communist time, it was a little bit different. You could pick, switch into between chemistry or whatever, something, an elective. There were like 4 examinations, something like that. If you do not pass your, if you graduate the 12th grade, you pass the tests, but not the baccalaureate, if you don't get that final test, the special test, you could not apply to a college, to get tested to a college. But you have, okay, I have 12th degree, I graduate the high school, but I can't go and apply to be tested at a college. You got the baccalaureate, you got above 5, everything was from 0 to 10. This was the grade, the grades. The passing grade was 5. 4, failure. 3, failure. 2, failure. 1, failure. 10, perfect. 9, and so on. So if you're above 5, you get a 5. Woohoo! I passed. Good. There you go. And you're out. You got the test, the baccalaureate called. You got the diploma with a picture. And you go, and then you go to apply for examinations for college, the same thing as with the high school. Now, how was the high school? In the high school, you wore uniforms like in the grade school, with numbers right here, but you wear a tie. That was the only difference. No more, things around your neck, scarf with whatever, symbols and so on. So you wear like a suit with a tie. Again, all the buttons checked, dental, when you start the year. The year was, again, the school year was 15th of September until about 15th of December. Then you got winter vacation. Then you start, I don't know, on the 10th or 15th of January until the 15th of June or something like that. The same, you got the books, the school books at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, we give them back, and next year you get the one. So we have the same thing as in the grade school, middle school, and as I said, elementary school. So this is what it was over there. Now everything was strict. Strict. Yeah, you can be smacked if necessary, and you could not smoke. Obviously, you could not drink. There were the people that you knew that were drinking, they were smoking, and so on. And they get smacked if they got caught, and sometimes they call the parents at school and tell them what to do and so on. Now in classroom, you would have desks, not single desk, where you sit alone, like United States I saw. You had 2, you sit with another person. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2, 2, 2, 2. So there were 3 rows, 2 people next to each other. And in the grade school, which I failed to say, in the grade school, in the 1 to 8 grade, you would sit next to a girl. Usually they don't let you pick, don't stay with a guy, so you don't do all kind of crazy stuff, so you have to be focused. We didn't have ADHD. That was cured with some palms. Pack. You had attention deficit. Never. You were always attentive. If you would not be paying attention, you would get smacked or get punished. And no, with ADHD, somehow those guys solved the problem. That's how it was. You couldn't have attention deficit disorder or anything, because if you had that, they would smack you. You get in problem. And then somehow that worked. Well, I was a very active kid, let's put it this way, put it nicely, okay? I didn't like to follow rules, I didn't like to stay in one place. I got smacked many times, and then you have to, anyway, probably here I would have like triple ADD, but over there they cured it. as I said, very organized. You would have maybe once a semester or trimester, you have party with the whole school or with the classroom, or you have talent shows, but everything was decent. Everything was decent. Everything was nice. Nothing was sexually, nothing sexual, nothing rude. Everything was to improve, to do something better intellectually. It was that orientation. It was strict, limited. Discipline, order and discipline. These were the words, order and discipline. Now you don't imagine that you were staying like this, but sometimes you stay like that so you don't get singled out by the teacher and come on, let's go to the blackboard and solve this problem if you don't pay attention, and then they will cure ADHD in that second for you a few times, because you will be like, and you would fail. They would give you a 2 or a 3, and it was hard to, at the end of the trimester, to pass the class. So you had to cure your ADHD and other, disorders that you might have. So this was the high school. That's much more to say in the high school. It was just, you had all kind of clubs that you could participate in. Clubs, not clubs where you drink or something, but a literature club, or you could have sports clubs, or you could have I don't know, airplanes building clubs or painting clubs. It was all to develop your brain and you as an individual. As I said, you had little, they will not tell you what to do in a way that, hey, you have to become a doctor or you have to become this. Nah, you go to what high school you want and so on. Now after you graduate, if you don't go to college, after you're 18, you go to the army. All right, but I'm gonna cover all that in the next video, which is gonna be part 3. The first one was the elementary and middle school. This is the high school, and the last one is gonna be from high school to college. Well, thank you very much for being. It's much more to talk about it, but I think this is a very, very small summary, short. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.